Tourism is an ever-growing market, and in recent years it has grown to focus more and more on the great outdoors. Our local environment has seen some positive results due to the greater conservation efforts in these natural areas. After all, if the tourism industry wants people to come to certain areas of the environment you are selling, this should be in good shape. However, some popular natural attractions are in highly sensitive environmental areas, and in these areas, even a small disturbance can have a big impact. Trampling, the introduction of invasive species, erosion, and littering are just some of the negative effects tourism has on the environment. As social media trends continue to grow, new trends can have a negative impact on the environment as well.
A new trend making its way into environmental tourism is rock stacking. Rock stacking is exactly what you'd think when you hear those words: piling or balancing rocks on top of each other that you find in nature. These stone sculptures can be made out of small, smooth river stones or big rocks to make more elaborate shapes. The idea is to create something beautiful in nature to show that you were there and leave your mark. And although rock stacking appears to be a new trend, it has its roots in some important history.
Rock stacking and cairns are similar in structure, but different in meaning. Rock stacking is for aesthetics, and cairns have a deeply rooted history leading all the way back to ancient Greece for many different reasons. Cairns have been used as a symbol with religion across the globe. They are said to be related to different supernatural beings like gods or saints. This practice has become less popular over the years. Another use of cairns is as trail markers. On hiking trails, they may be strategically placed group of stones that can provide information for hikers, letting them know which way to go or not to go. This use has also had a long-standing history in South America. They have been found on several sites where this is the case. Cairns play an important role in both religion and topography, setting them apart from their aesthetically pleasing counterpart of rock stacking.
Rock stacking has become popular on social media for many reasons. It is aesthetically pleasing, the act itself is meditative, and it gives the illusion of being out or one with nature. As adventure tourism gains popularity, the more and more people look to traveler influencers on social media, the more people become aware of the concept of rock stacking and think, I'll try that on my next hike. Or even worse, actively go out into nature just to stack rocks and get that one aesthetic photo for their social media. The reality is that this seemingly harmless act can wreak havoc on the environment.
The trend of rock stacking directly results in the displacement of rocks where the trend is popular. The action of removing rocks where they were originally found exposes the soil underneath and leads to soil erosion. The Teed National Park and Tenerife Ozark National Scenic Riverways in the United States have both experienced soil erosion along the riverbanks as a result of the increased amount of rock stacking from tourists. Ponte de San Lorenzo is located on the peninsula of the eastern tip of the Mandara Island. The region has grown as a popular hiking destination for many tourists. The trail here relies on cairns as markers, but many new rock stacks have been made outside of marked trails, confusing many other hikers. In addition to the high risk of getting lost along these trails, many of the bush ecosystems are now at risk of being trampled down by tourists. Native organisms such as the Thalos liverroot, the Mandara archipelagos wolf spider, and the Mandara flower spider are now under threat because the rocks are vital to their survival. And if the rock stacking trend continues in this area, the species may soon disappear. Something that is rarely thought about is the microhabitat of rocks and how changes in the microbiome have a direct effect on the environment. In Australia, the endangered species Hoplolepis funderitis and the lizards it eats as prey consistently have the rocks they use for shelter disrupted and displaced. Even movement as little as 30 centimeters affects the thermal profile, shelter available, and humidity of the rocks. Removal of rocks changes these abiotic factors and modifies the habitat structure that many living organisms reside in. These changes most greatly affect invertebrates, mollusks, and cold-blooded animals in both terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems, since rock temperature is essential for proper thermoregulation of these animals. Unlike most other habitats, rock habitats take thousands of years to form, so small changes are not easily fixed. When rocks were disturbed, the lizard and snake species avoided using these rocks. But when the rocks were restored to their original position, they returned to the rocks slowly over time.
How can we change this harmful trend of rock stacking? There are tons of non-harmful ways to interact with the environment. Taking pictures of natural formations of the environment is a great way to capture memory without changing anything. By cleaning up trash that you find along your hike and posting a before and after picture to promote awareness. By supporting your local and federal park rangers and legislators and creating laws to help dismantle these harmful structures. Rock stacking may be pleasing to the eye, but as you have all learned today, it affects the native wildlife and ecosystems. The Earth is only suffering more from these actions. As inhabitants of this planet, we need to do our part in taking care of it, even if it's as simple as leaving the land as it is.